Hello everyone and welcome to game number 1 between TLO as the red Zerg in the top left and ToD as the blue Protoss in the bottom right. I feel like I'm going to have to call him ToD during this because saying TLO and ToD is just, I just know I'm just going to mess up all the time. Anyways, the map is Whirlwind LE, I think. I say I think because when you go to look at the replay, it's written in Russian, so that does make it, well, I think it's Russian anyways, it might be something else, but I'm like 90% sure it's Russian. That makes it fairly difficult to actually tell whether this is LE or the RSL version or who knows what. Either way, we will be seeing a ZVP, and let's see what happens in it. Already some interesting choices, like a pylon on the high ground. Some Protoss do prefer to do a pylon on the high ground, followed by the forge. I'm not entirely certain why. I feel like it might just be because it's a little safer against 6 pools. What are we going to see? No, it's a gateway. We are seeing a gateway out of ToD. Already an interesting choice, especially since this is a 4-player map, meaning, and it does not force cross spawns, meaning he's going to have to scout for his opponent, and a gateway first usually signals some form of aggression. There we go, there we have a gas coming down. But we do have a pool on the way. TLO might be metagaming this guy just a tad, simply because a lot of times, once again, 4-player map, large 4-player map, you can often see a 15 hatch. But no, indeed, we see the 14 pool. I believe it was either 14 or 15. I will probably pay more attention to that at some point. It's difficult for me to do it because my APM as a caster, I mean, that they just do things that well. We have a Cyber Core coming down. Are we looking at a 4-gate, folks? I almost feel like we might be, which raises the question, how on earth does he know where his opponent is? Because to really execute the 4-gate, you need to be able to put down that pylon. He might just send it out scouting just in time. Who knows? I certainly don't. Yep, there we go. Nope, that's actually going to the natural. He might be planning to expand, a gateway expand. Not often something we see. Actually, we did see it out of Hars. No. Maybe it was Harston. I feel like it was Harston. Maybe I'm just tired because all of a sudden I'm like, wait, Harston's Protoss, right? Oh God. Listen, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I've casted so many games recently that my mind has blown. It's just gone crazy. The world has stopped to make sense. We do have an expand coming down in a mothership core on the way. Normally this sort of signals still a more aggressive posture than before. We might be seeing multiple gateway pushes with that core to support some form of attack. We are going to see a couple of lings enter the base, going to be chased away by the mothership core and its little tickle cannon. I know I'm calling it a tickle cannon, and Sentry has a tickle beam. We are seeing multiple gateways come down on the bottom there, but we are not seeing Warp Gate be chronoed, which means who knows what that means. What I do know is that we have 4 gates up and Warp Gate on the way. I feel like he's going to try and be aggressive in this game, but we will have to find out. Mothership Core going to be chasing that ling away from the tower, but the tower, no, I'm just going to take it back there quick. Now he's going to go to scout, realizing of course that there is no Mothership Core to deny it this time, and we do have the probe moving out to do its scouting. Going to be not really necessary because we are going to find it with the Mothership Core, who will of course spot the creep more than enough for it. And there's the pylon coming down as I suspected. We will be seeing multiple gateway pressure out of our opponent, and the Roach Warrant of course coming down for TLO. See, I'm mixing them up. That Warp Gate has not been chronoed, but I'm not sure it's necessary. The only question is whether he puts down more gateways or whether he goes for a push on the 4. I feel like he will probably go for the 4. There are no spines down, so this could be a very powerful push. Will all depend on the timing of that Roach Warrant. There goes the Overlord, going to be scouting in. The Tickle Beam going to be trying to work it down, but he will be scouting quite a bit here. Namely, those 3 gateways at the front and the Warp Gate just coming down. He has seen that coming. The only question is now, what will TLO do about it? All of a sudden, we do see a Stargate coming down. I believe that was just outside of the Overlord's range, and Zealots are going to be moving in, but there are Roaches there, and they are going to be able to take out that one Zealot. If he's not very careful with it, he will not be. Either way, the Zealots will be immediately going for the Queens, who will not be able to escape due to the time warp there. The Queens, of course, working away at that Mothership core. One Queen falls, and oh god, are we going to lose that other Queen? 1 down, and 2 down. The Queens both fall, and the Roaches are going to go and work away at that pylon. It will not last for very long, but he has shut down mining on that base. For the moment, he will, of course, be harassing those Roaches. Not really much of a point. They will just heal, of course, and a Void Ray on the way already. We do have Zealots inside this base, again delaying mining time. Going to be forcing TLO into positions he doesn't necessarily want to be in, going to be trying to get as many worker kills as he possibly can. Not any so far, and that's a little bit surprising. Not able to get a single kill off on those drones. TLO responding beautifully to this. Just beautifully. I mean, really, having Zealots inside your mineral line and not losing a worker is pretty darn fantastic. Either way, ToD just becoming unsupply blocked there, and we do see the Roaches moving out across the field, trying to put on the counter pressure, but the Void Ray is going to be chronoed. The only question is whether or not it will be done in time to save his life. The third base is coming down as well. I feel like it might have been just a tad premature. All of a sudden, there is sort of an issue here, as these units are just going to be going crazy here. Oh, no, there we go. That Roach there is going to be scanning the third base. I feel like this wall-off is too complete. And the triple pylon there, making sure that they remain powered. I feel like it's too complete. I don't think he can actually make it out of this base without working down one of his own gateways. Maybe that edge. Yep, that edge is alright. Okay, he can make it out. Zealot Sentry so far. Not going to be that effective against Roach Hydra. But we do see a lot of Hydras out already. That's going to be quite impressive, especially since we have a lot of Void Rays now out on the field. Well, not a lot, but a significant sum of Void Rays. They do represent a large part of his army. And that's going to be an issue for him, because the Hydralisks basically are they are the hard counter to Void Rays. They are literally the best counter to Void Rays ever made by any player ever. I mean, they are just terrible. They're a light unit that has incredible DPS, and of course light units. Did he actually manage to scout that? He did. He saw the Hydralisks down, but actually, you know what? He's going to see the Hydralisks right now in action. Now the question becomes, how much micro can you do? I don't know if any amount of micro is going to save his life. That's the thing. We do see the overcharge, but that has really no effect when dealing with those Hydralisks there. It will help him deal with the Roaches, which are, of course, a significant problem to his Zealots. And most of that force is Hydralisk, though. We do have more Roach Hydra coming over. The pressure will be put on by TLO, trying to avoid that time warp there. The only question is whether or not ToD can hold this and hold on without any form of AoE units whatsoever. Just pure Roach or pure Zealots versus, or Zealot Sentry versus Roach Hydra. And there's the engagement, really nice arc by his opponents. Going to be trying to cut off the Hydralisk's escape. He's going to manage to get more than a few there, maybe enough to make the difference in this battle. But remember that those Roaches are going to be just terribly well, no, you know what? Never mind. Forget everything I've said. Those Void Rays, more than enough to scare the Hydralisks back. and the battle all of a sudden has shifted gears. We do have almost just more than enough here to deal with TLO's forces. TLO on the run. A lot of Roach Hydra coming up, though. I don't know if ToD can keep up this pressure. We'll see if he is able to. Triple Void Ray production. What the? Oh my goodness. ToD, you animal. That is just insane. That is so... Oh my goodness. The only question is whether it matters, because we're having the Zergians just run by. They're going to be hitting that third really hard. No way he can keep up that production without those units. And there's the Whirlwind going to be trying to buy himself some time. The Mass Recall might be able to save him, but he's going to lose a Void Ray there. No, he will not. He does manage to cut off a few of those units. Remember that if you're not careful with those force fields, you can hurt your own Zealots versus Roach Hydra. Either way, we have +2 missile attacks on the way, and +1 weapon on the way for ToD in ground and air. This match is very, very interesting. That pylon will fall, unfortunately, for ToD. And what do we have here? Small force of Roach Hydra going to be trying to move in. Not going to be able to do much. Maybe get a pylon for their trouble, but not anything more than that. The only question is where this game goes from here. Maybe we'll be seeing, we are seeing Zealot Charge, I almost said Zealot Leg Speed, which is of course a very good upgrade. We are seeing a couple of Zealots here. Wait, what? Why did you choose that base over that base? I do not know. What I do know is that this game has just been fascinating. Templar on the way will be for probably Archons rather than Storm. I don't believe he has Storm. He does not. There we go. There's the Archons. They will give him some form of splash damage. He does need to worry about the Roach Hydra force here, though. Roach Hydra harassment OP. Let's just put it that way. Oh, will they get the... There's the cancel. He does manage to force that cancel, but he will lose this Roach Hydra. Does get into a fantastic position, though. Not that it matters. Burst the Void Rays. Oh, and we do have an attack going on over here. He's going to be focusing down that other one. Will he be able to get it before the Mass Recall? No, he will not. Has to run away from the Void. Oh my god, just look at this force. We do have Vipers on the way, as well as +3 missile attack. I almost feel like he really should be going for +1 armor to deal with these Voids, which are just becoming a problem to deal with here. And Zealot Archon strong by itself, and we're seeing a little bit of a... I don't know if these were part of a wall-off, or I think they were for the Vipers, honestly. Just sort of proxied those up. And of course, Hydralisk very fast on creep. Those Zealots do need to get out of there, or of course they could just turn around and engage, because Zealots are quite effective against Hydralisk. We are seeing a mostly Hydralisk force here, but that's alright, because we do have a mostly... we have a mostly... Void Ray force out of ToD. Both opponents here reaching that maxed army stage. We'll be seeing whether or not anything comes of this. The forces are going to have to engage soon. I don't think ToD has a pylon too close by. That is going to make a huge difference in the upcoming battles. And we are seeing Storm finally make an appearance. Well, will be making an appearance on the field, and +2 weapons. Of course, on the way. Is there +1 armor? There is not. There's the force field preventing anything from running away, and he's going to be working down this base. There's the counterattack streaming across the map. Of course, does he have enough for Mass Recall? He does not. He's got, what, 15 seconds to wait? 15 seconds is definitely too long for him to wait. He will not have the time. He needs to bring his forces home now. He's going to be losing a lot right here to this. Does he have Storm? He does not have it ready. There comes like preemptive cannons trying to come down, trying to buy him some time. Will not be happening. Basically traded base for base. But here comes some Zealots going to be harassing that area over here. Whether or not they're able to do very much, of course, is the question. There is quite an amount of spines there that will be defending that. And, oh, it looks like he's just turning around, going home for the base trade. That's what this has become. Can Zerg survive, or can Protoss? It's the question of the hour. We do have an extractor over here. I'm going to be giving him a little bit of an advantage. The DT, though, able to chase these away. No wonder he turned around. He has the ultimate defense. DT versus units without detection stalkers warping in to aid in that defense will be able to clean this up. No problem, as his forces do engage over here. There were so many statics, though, he lost a considerable amount of his force just trying to deal with it. What he has left is not really enough, since it's mostly Void Ray versus Hydralisk, but he is able to pull it off just barely with the Time Warp, and of course we do have Dark Templar making their appearance now on the field. Won't be too effective as there are spores down quite a bit, but all of a sudden the base count for TLO decreased and the GG occurs. Oh my goodness, folks, what a game. ToD taking home the win from TLO. Whew. Gotta love it, folks. Gotta love it. I am FDV Vladerag, and I'll see you guys next time.